All right, so now we're going to look at some options for joining or relating data in QGIS. So first we're going to look at doing a table join, which is based on a shared or common attribute, so just basically the table. And then secondly, we'll look at doing a spatial join that is based on spatial co-occurrence. Okay, so I really didn't find any good data for this, so for this example. So what I'm going to do is use this opportunity to show you some other techniques and tools. All right, so I have this state layer, and if we go into its attribute table, we can see there's tons of attributes in there about that state. So what I'm going to do is basically take the attribute table, remove it, and hook it back on using a join. All right, so the first thing I want to do is export out just the attribute table. So to do that, I go to Export, Save Feature As, and we're going to set it to comma separated values. It's basically a table, and I'm going to save it out to a table. You can see I already did this in there. I'm just going to put a 2 on the end. All right, so CSV file, projections there, but it really doesn't matter for this since we're not saving any spatial information, and we want to set this to no geometry because we don't want to save the geometry. We just want the table. All right, so we hit OK, that runs. If we go down here, and we have this new table object without any map or geometric information, and there is the table without the geometry. Okay, so next thing I want to do is remove the attributes from this states layer. So I'm going to go to this drop fields tool, which is available under vector table, and it's again a QGIS tool, as opposed to like a GRASS or a Saga tool. So I'm going to drop fields, and we want to drop from the state fields, or a state object, and then if you click this, you can select what you want to drop. I'm just going to do select all. And all I really want to do is maintain the attribute. I just want to maintain the common attribute. So in this case, I'm going to use the state name, and that's okay. I think that's fine because we know that each state has a unique name, so there'll be unique or identifiers. You got to be careful using like text fields as unique identifiers if they may be duplicated. So for example, maybe you have counties, and you have this counties with the same name in different states, and then it's not unique. It's probably better to use like a unique ID, like a FIPS code or something. But here we'll just use the state's name because we know that's unique. So I'm not going to delete that, and that should work. And then we'll hit OK, and then run, and then close. So now we have a copy of the data there. Open up, and what we have is just the state name. So that's it. All right, so now to perform our join. So to join, which is a little bit different than how we would do it like in ArcGIS, click on the layer you want to join to and go to Properties. And then within this list, there's a Joins option. And then we want to add a join. And we want to add to this, we want to join the table, and the common field will be state name, and that's it. So if we hit OK and then apply, OK. Now if we go into this layer, we have all those attributes back on, and again you can see it's prefixed here with this US table 2, and that's because it's from that table as opposed to from the original data layer. And then you could use those fields in some type of analysis or to symbolize the data or whatnot. Okay, so that's an example of doing a table join using a common field. Now let's look at doing a spatial join. So here's our tornadoes again, spread out across the country, and then we have our state boundaries. So we go into the state layer, again, there's tons of information in that attribute table. And let's say that we wanted to attribute all this information on the tornadoes that occur within the state. So for each tornado in the data set, we want the attributes for the state that it occurs within added to its attribute table. So that's a perfect example of a use of a spatial join. Note you could also do this with like an intersection, basically give you the same result. Okay, so let's set that up. So to do a spatial join, you go to Vector, and I believe it's under data management tool. So we want to do a join attributes by location. Okay, so what we want is our tornadoes, and we want to join the state's information to it. Intersects would work, within would work. We'll just leave intersects there. And there's some options here for the types of join. One to many will work in this case. So hit run, close, and then if we open, no, we got back a point geometry. And if we open up the attribute table, now we should have all this information on the back end, which came from the state information. So every tornado in the same state should have the same attribute information for those in those attribute columns. Okay, so that's an example of doing table and spatial joins in QGIS.